Hi, this is Matt Blanchett from Blanchett Homes, and when I'm not selling houses, I like to walk through the streets of historic hometowns to appreciate the places that have stood the test of time. Walk with me.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Walk With Me. I'm your host, Matt Blanchett. And these floppy ears you see behind the snowbank is Lincoln. How you doing, buddy? We're here at the Strawbery Bank, joined by the Chief Curator, Elizabeth Farish. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi there.
This is a beautiful, striking building right on, what street is this?
Court Street.
Court Street. We had to stop at just because it's so prominent. I love the federal entablatures you see above the windows, traditional 6/6 hung styles. This doorway is beautiful, maybe in a later addition, but just another example of a building that's been so well maintained by the Strawbery Bank, and it's got a very interesting story that I'm going to let Ms. Farish tell us.
Well, thank you. I wanted to include this building for you because it's one of the few buildings that was built for public use at Strawbery Bank. I think I mentioned that most of the buildings here are meant for domestic use. This was built as a tavern. And so this was built during the Revolutionary period. And during the Revolutionary period, this is where visitors to Portsmouth would stop to sleep, to eat, and where locals would come to get the latest news. This was the stagecoach stop. Okay. So you could take the coach to Newburyport, to Boston, and vice versa. People were coming from those cities to our own. And it's very large. It's one of the more larger buildings that we have here. So, tavern activities on the first floor, sleeping on the second floor, and then the third floor was built as a ballroom. Okay. So there's many period newspaper advertisements listing all of the different entertainments that visitors and locals alike could have come to enjoy.
Nice. Well, it's just a gorgeous property, and thank you for showing it to us.
Thank you.
There's a story here I can tell with all the L's that have been added on, and it's just so well maintained. Who was William Pitt? So
William Pitt was actually a British politician who was advocating for the colonists to create the United States of America. When the building was built, it was the Earl of Halifax Tavern. Obviously, that's an English lord's title, and the townspeople who were considered themselves American, they weren't having it anymore, and so he acquiesced and renamed a little
bit of history for you. There you go.
Pitt Tavern.
So thank you so much for being with us. We have one or two more houses to see in this series, so I think we're going to keep walking. But thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.
Good boy, Lincoln.